is going on, hobby family? It is your boy K-Dub, and this is K-Dub's High Five, 5 rapid fire questions with your favorite hobby faces. And today, it's one of our Twitter hobby favorites. He's the host of the Sports Card Nation podcast. The hobby is for the people is his tagline. One of my good friends, awesome dude in the hobby, John, aka at Sports Card Nation on Twitter. How are you doing today, my friend?
What's up, Kyle? How's things going?
Oh, things are rolling, man. I'm cruising just like you to the end of the year, and I couldn't be happier, man. It's just a good time to be a teacher.
We said one of the hobby's favorite faces. I don't know if I go that far. That's why I do a podcast. I think I have a face
Well,
for
maybe
radio. But
metaphorical faces, Twitter
yeah,
image display faces. So, anyways, you've seen the show before. You kind of know how it works. I got 5 hobby related questions. I'm gonna throw them one right after another. You ready to take on the high five?
I am. My seat's getting warm, but I'm ready.
Let's heat it up, baby. Let's heat it up. All right. Question number 1. You host the Sports Card Nation podcast. Kind of walk me through, how did you come into sports card podcasting? Like, how did that come about? How did Sports Card Nation come about? Like, how did you decide to do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. Someone you know very well was an inspiration to me, Eric Norton,
Oh, yeah.
from the Fat Packs podcast. That was the one, back in the day. That was what I like binge listened to.
Mm.
Me and my son, for that matter, my son Jordan, who was younger at that time, would listen. We'd go to. I'm originally from New York City, living here in Syracuse. We go down to visit family, and so a lot of times it would be just me and Jordan if my wife didn't make the trip, and we just binge listened to Eric and his show. And my son, who knows my hobby background and history, said, "Dad, what have you ever thought of doing that? I mean, Eric's awesome, and but you've done this a long time. You could do that."
Sure.
And I said, "Man, Eric does such a great job.
Mm.
You know, I haven't really. If I thought I could do it better, maybe, but." He's doing a bang up job, but that put the thought in the back of my mind,
Mm.
Kyle. But I didn't do anything. I didn't act upon it. And I have another friend. I'll make this story shorter than it actually is. Another friend who's from Syracuse, but he went down to Orlando, Florida, to work for ESPN Radio and sportscasting. Did like a
Mm.
morning radio show, and without going into gory details, it wasn't working out. They were kind of telling him what his opinion was rather than let him kind of speak his own mind. And so his job became very stressful. And he came back up here to Syracuse and started his own media broadcasting company. Did a live 3-hour sports show. He built a studio in his house, and made a business out of that, and knew I was into cards. He collected cards and dabbled in it, not as much as I do, but
Yeah.
knew my background, and said, "Hey, John, why don't I want to do this thing on Friday?" And at the time, from my regular job, I had Fridays off. I worked
Perfect.
four 10-hour days, and he knew that. He's like, "Can you come over on Friday morning? Bring like 5 to 7 cards that are pertinent to what's going on in the sports world. We can kind of, bridge this gap, the between sports cards and the sports world, and kind
Yeah.
of talk about it for an hour, and we'll call it Collector's Corner." And it was supposed to be a one-shot deal, just a one week deal, 1 day thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so we did. I think it went about an hour and 20 minutes. It went real well. I had never done. I've done a little TV, like just been on TV, but nothing, of that nature. And it's audio video what he did. And about 5 hours later in the afternoon, he called me up and he goes, "Dude, do you have every Friday off?" And I'm like, "For now, I do, but that may change." And he
Yeah.
goes, "I got emails, I got DMs, I got text messages. People love that segment. They think it's like it's going to be an every Friday thing. You're willing to do it every Friday?" And that's how that got born. That was
Nice.
born. And then my schedule changed. My work said, "Hey, you don't have to be here all day Friday, but we do need you to be here at least in the morning." And
Okay.
so that put that on the kibosh. And so that was the end of that. My son Jordan actually took my place for about a month on Dan Tortora's show.
Okay.
But then he went off to college, and so that was the end of that
Huh.
for him as well. So, but what that show did, Kyle, was kind of proved to me not only can I do it audio wise, I was not intimidated. I was a little nervous, but I could do the visual too. And
Yeah.
so, then I wasn't doing it right, and then I'm like, I kind of miss doing it. That was fun. And
Sure.
then I launched in November of 2018. We launched Sports Card Nation podcast, and had no idea then where we were going, how well it was going to be
Yeah.
received, if it would be received. Like, I went in with no expectations and just wanted to have fun with it. And here we are, almost 4 years later. It's crazy.
I love it, man. It's a great thing, and the thing I love is your boy is the inspiration, man. The boy came up with the idea. So shout out to
Yeah,
Jordan. If Jordan watches this, shout out to Jordan.
yeah. I'll tell him to. So
For sure, for sure.
yeah.
All right. Well, second question. You kind of mentioned Eric Norton already as kind of an influence to you in your podcasting, but who would you say were some of your influences in your own like personal collecting hobby journey in your life?
Well, I got to start with my grandfather
Hmm.
because if we went. Growing up in Brooklyn, we went to the corner store to get
Yeah,
something else, not for baseball cards, and that's where I noticed that box on the front counter that
for sure.
that had baseball player on it and packs. That was my first. I was a sports kid. I liked sports, but I
Yeah,
hadn't been introduced to cards yet. I was 7 years old. It was 1979. I kind of put two and two together and kind of figured out what they were. I had seen Jaws cards
hmm.
already, and I figured these were baseball cards. And asked my grandfather if they were. He said, "Yeah. Would you like a couple packs, Johnny?" That's what he called me. And whenever you know this, whenever a grandparent, a parent, any relative asks you if you want something, the answer is almost immediately yes, unless it's like vegetables or something that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really good for you. But I said yes. I don't remember if I got two or three packs, but the first pack I opened up again. At the time, I was a Yankee fan. I'm not a Yankee fan today, but at the time, and Reggie Jackson in 1979 was the toast in New York, and
Oh,
I believe like the fourth or fifth card in that first pack was a Reggie, and that was like,
game over.
the rest is history, as I say. And I was hooked, and my friends collected too, but they rather have the gum. So I
Yeah.
would just I would just trade them my gum for their cards, and started getting just a lot of cards. You might say, well, good thing you didn't get any cavities because you weren't chewing the gum. I just got them in different from different forms. So
Different avenues.
I didn't avoid the dentist. I just didn't get it from the gum as
Uh,
my friends did.
yeah, I love it, man. Well, shout out to your grandpa, man. That's fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah, and also too, along the way, I started working in a card store called Seventh Inning Stretch. A
Okay.
gentleman, the owner's name was Rudy Backstein, and I was in there so much, he just said, "John, you're here most of the time. Why don't you? I need help. Why don't I just pay you?"
Yeah.
And he really didn't pay me because any money I
Yep.
got went right back
I
into the
was gonna
hobby.
say.
Yeah, and then at 15, I did my first show. My friends kind of pushed me over the edge because I had sort of the best inventory, and they're like, Dude, you should do shows." And so I started my first show at 15, did my first store at 20, and
Mm,
been with it ever since. And so my grandfather Rudy Backstein, but everybody along the way, right?
for
Like you
sure.
said, the hobbies, the people, the tagline. It's the cards will always be here, but the people along our hobby journey, some will remain the same, and then
Absolutely.
we'll make new friends too. And those stories are so individual and inspiring. So I hate to single out just a few people. I
For
think
sure.
we could do an hour just on that. I know we're not gonna, but so
All right, man. Well, let's jump to the cards, man. You've been collecting since you were a kid. Is there a Grail card out there for you that you either have in your collection? I know you shared a little something on Twitter a couple days ago, but also, is there a Grail card out there for you that you've always wanted or that you have and you'll never let go
You timed this show right. We didn't do this on purpose.
of?
So I do have the card, like you said. I got it. It actually came here to Syracuse on Friday.
Yeah.
I was in Dallas, Texas at the Dallas Card Show. And so it was sitting in my office here just waiting to
Yeah.
be unboxed. I got home Sunday night late, dead tired. But I wasn't going to sleep without opening it. This
For
is my
sure.
Grail card. Um, Before I show it, I'm being suspenseful here. It's a card, Kyle. It's my favorite guy. It's my icon growing up in Brooklyn. Um, it's a card I had a chance to buy probably two times legitimately when it was a lot cheaper to do,
Yeah.
and I kicked myself because I
Yeah.
just said, I'll get it another day. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna spend my money on this today, and I'll just come
Yeah.
back and grab it another day. And I did that a couple times, and before I knew it, I kind of let it go, and then it just went through the stratosphere, deservedly so.
Yeah.
And now it cost me a lot more than it would have the two times, but kind of was very selective. I actually, for being an expensive card, I did fairly well on it. So my guy's Jackie Robinson. So if you're
Boom.
anyone that loves Jackie Robinson, even if you don't, in
Yeah.
the
How
hobby,
can you not? Oh,
it's the
beautiful, man.
48, 49
48,
leaf.
49.
Yeah. And
Crazy.
so this, this is my Grail card. This, yeah, I know there's cards that are more expensive,
Yeah.
Kyle. Even though this one's not cheap, but
Mm.
we got things like the 52 Tops Mano,
Yeah.
obviously, Onus Wagner T206. But if there was one card that wanted to get sooner rather than later, it's this card. It's not about value to me. It's more than what the card's worth.
For
It's
sure.
nice that it's favored upon
Yeah.
in the hobby, but that's, for me, that's not what it's all about, especially with this card. So this sits now. I look at it every day. I've only had it a couple days, but
You will continue
um,
to look at it.
reminds me of, like, even when, there was times I thought, I might not never get this, unless I,
Yeah.
go broke, or but I had a couple good Syracuse shows. I did a couple shows locally, sort of put some money aside instead of spending it on not the card like I did previously. And I said, listen, you're either going to get it now or you're just
Never
never
good.
going to get
Yep.
it. Right.
For sure.
I'm not getting any younger. I want to, if I'm going to have it, I want to have it for more time than wait
Absolutely.
till, it's too late and you don't have as much time with it. So that's my Grail card, and good timing. I literally opened
There
it
it is. Beautiful.
Sunday night, and here we are a couple days
Meant to
later. It's
be.
so really, just a card I've chased, off and on, and just always thought it'd be there, and then it just went through the trajectory price wise, and
For sure.
then it looked doubtful at times, but patience, I guess, paid off in the long run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, hey, now that we've seen the card, what's the product, man? You got all the money in the world. You can rip any product you want. What box are you ripping and why?
I'm gonna give two. I know that's cheating,
Nah, it's all
but
right.
I mean, 52 tops. I mean, just to open a product like that, which back in the day actually wasn't well received, but obviously things have changed. And I think, and the other box I'm going to mention, Kyle, is actually, it's not cheap, but it's actually more obtainable, and we've seen people rip it off, but it's got to be a fun rip. Is that 86, 87 Fleer
Got
basketball,
to.
where,
Got to.
where you're going to get 3 or 4 Jordans in it if it's, a legit box. You're going to get,
Yeah,
just all the rookies: Barkley,
for
Olajuwon,
sure.
Ewing. It's just a fun rip. You got the stickers, and you're just going to hit. It's a small set with 132
Yeah,
cards, and then the stickers, and just the to open those. Every pack's probably gonna have something in it. We all love that adrenaline
Yep.
rush, right? Of opening packs. That's a product that won't disappoint. Uh,
Absolutely.
so I've never. It's funny. I was doing cards that year. I was 14, but I was more of a baseball kid. So
Gotcha.
I probably opened some of it. I never pulled a Jordan, so I wasn't lucky. And but so it would be kind of like making up for something I didn't get to do as a
Absolutely.
14-year-old kid.
I love it. I love it. What a great product. I mean, you can't go wrong with that product, with that class. So, all
Yeah.
right, last question on the docket for you, man. We've mentioned it. Your kind of tagline for the Sports Card Nation podcast is "The hobby is the people." How do you feel like the hobby is the people? Like, what do you feel like that looks like as the hobby moves forward, kind of in this new kind of look of the hobby? What do you feel like that looks like in the hobby? The hobby is for the people moving forward into 2022 and then beyond as the hobby starts changing again?
Yeah, it's a great question. I like to keep it real. You know that, Kyle. I
Mhm.
keep it positive, but keep it real too, right? We can't sugarcoat stuff.
Yeah.
The market's kind of going back, to kind of sort of pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
We got an unknown, with Fanatics taking over the majority license. We don't know. It's all speculation, what they may or may not do. I started out cautiously optimistic, not as optimistic, truth be told, as I was initially. I hope I'm wrong. Sometimes I don't like to be right. If
Yeah.
if being right means it's not good.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of uncertainty. Prices have come down, which is good for buying. For sellers, they're not real excited about that, but that's the yin and the yang of life and the hobby. But one thing won't ever change, right? It's our friends we make in a hobby, regardless
Absolutely.
of the prices of wax, the prices of single cards, the prices of a card that I just put on screen, whether it goes up or down. The one thing that's always remained steady is the friends you make
For
along your
sure.
hobby journey.
Yeah.
Your good ones will be there for you, regardless of what's going on, good or bad, in the hobby. And
Absolutely.
you keep the ones you have, and then you add to it. It's almost like, I hate to put it like this, but we collect cards, you add to your collection, where you add to your friendships as well. And again,
Absolutely.
if you're having a bad day in the hobby, those folks are usually going to be there to pick you up. And if you're having a good day, those they're there to celebrate that. I mean,
For
the
sure.
perfect example is when I posted that. I finally, a lot of people knew what that card meant to me, and when I posted that, I just got so many likes and messages. Congrats! I'm as happy for you, and that stuff. It means a lot for someone to take time out of the day, stop what they're doing, even for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, and send a message like, hey John, I know that's your card, and you weren't sure you ever get it, and I see you did, and I'm so excited for you, man. That stuff just really hits home. I know we're talking about cardboard here, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's more than the cardboard. It's
Absolutely.
the camaraderie. It's the friendships you make, helping out someone when they're down. Maybe they suffered a loss or a tragedy, or
Mm.
even a loss of a job or something like that.
Yeah.
I know you've done a lot of great things with racks, right? Getting
Sure.
someone their card, right, that
Yeah.
fits that description, and totally unbeknownst to them until they open it up, and
Yeah.
probably floored. And that's what it's about, right? I know we're all here for the cards. That's the common thread. I get it. I'm not trying to poo-poo the cards, but without us too in the hobby, there would be no hobby. So that's where the
Absolutely.
hobby is the people, comes from. And
I love it.
there's no crazy sexy story. I came up with it rather quickly. It
Mm.
just really came to the forefront. It was a day where my brain was working, and just was sort of just came to me, and I'm like, I mean, what else can you say? I think that
Yep.
really, says it all, and the rest is history with the tagline. But it's to
Love
me,
it.
it's not even just a tagline. I think we all kind of are living it. So,
Yeah.
and that's important.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, hey, You have cleared the table of the high five. We got a high five at the end of the high five, man. Throw it up, throw it
There
up.
we go.
All right, man.
And blue shirts. We got our blue shirts on.
Your blue shirts. I appreciate you joining me. Friends, you can follow John on Twitter at Sports Card Nation. Also, check out his podcast, sportscardnationpodcast.com. You can also follow me if you're bored at Mr. K-Dub. I'm gonna just end it with the hobby is for the people. Listen to this man. Check him out. I appreciate y'all joining me. And we'll catch you guys next time on the next high five.
This is a demo sound of freeintromusic.com.